Hello YouTube. So what you're looking at right now are two of the linear actuators which are powering the legs of my robot. They didn't really work that well, considering that when I tried to make them move, this one sheared straight off. How it was this rod was filed down to fit into the hole of this cordless drill motor, and it slid down and locked in place. But as you can see, it sheared clean off, and even this one, which has yet to shear, is bent at an angle and would probably shear if I used it for any longer. Let's take this apart and get a closer look at what's going on. Okay, with all the hot glue off, you can see the little square piece. This was originally part of the larger rod. Okay, this is the solution which I found to my problem regarding the linear actuators. So here's what I did. Basically, I got one of these 3/8" couplers. Basically, this is a 2" long 3/8" nut, and I threaded one side of this nut to be 3/8" at 24 threads per inch, which is what the shaft of these drills use. They use 3/8 24 threads per inch. Well, this one I believe is 3/8 16 threads per inch. So I threaded it down halfway, and then the other half was still this normal threading, and I tightened a bolt onto this, and this was tightened down all the way onto this. Eventually the shaft reaches the normal threaded 3/8 and it stops, so it's a secure connection right here. And for the actuating part, I got a 1/2" PVC pipe. I believe this is a 6" section, and I hammered down two 3/8" nuts into the pipe section. With this linear actuator solved, I still have my other one here. You can see it has a much thinner rod. It also has a longer extension. This is completely unnecessary, since the most either of these would have to move is about 1 inch. We're going to be doing very small steps just to maintain the balance of the robot. So let's do the same thing which we did to this one for this one. We're gonna start off by taking off this section. That is a nice trick to use. If anyone doesn't know, WD-40 removes hot glue. But here is how the original system works. This is what I was talking about with the other drill. I got this 1/4" threaded rod, and I filed it down into a little square piece, and this fit very nicely inside of where the bolt would go, and I just hot glued all the way around it until it locked in place. Even though this worked fine, it didn't work very well under pressure as soon as I put a load on it. What we're replacing that with is one of these. Okay, now that this is in place, I still need to tighten it down a little bit more right here, but even as it is, it's still in place fine enough. Next, we have to cut out a piece of this 3/8" rod. As you can see, this one right here is bent a little bit, but that doesn't matter since we're using a small portion of it. Let's unscrew this to see how long it is. Okay, so now that this rod is cut to size, I just need to make another one of these. So I need to get a pipe, drill a hole in it, and hammer down some more bolts. Okay, so this thing right here is the head of the robot. I've been working on it for a little while now, but basically what the head is going to do is it's going to house all the electronics for the robot, and it's going to move back and forth with the robot as it shifts its weight. So what I need to put in here is a microcontroller as well as a way to control the motors. I'm going to be using a set of relays for now. This is the equipment which I will use to control the robot. It will be this Arduino right here as well as this relay board. It has 8 relays and you need 2 of them per motor. So with this system I can drive 1, 2, 3, 4 motors. Of course it's only wired up right now for 1 motor, but we are going to change that. You can see that it's mounted on the lid of a box. Let's take all this stuff off of here and put it in its final mounting place inside of the head of the robot. I think that something like this setup would be a good place to put these 2 components. There will also be sensors inside of this head as I near completion of this robot project, but for now, just to get the motors moving, I will just have these 2 components. This is the front of